What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CRWN Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we literally just watched Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This should be an interesting episode, too, because I thought that it was just okay. I thought the visuals were amazing. Action scenes, awesome. Colors, amazing. But the story-wise, I thought it was just okay.
And I have completely different thoughts on that. Well, actually not. I mean, I thought the story was actually very well told. I like that it was broken down. I thought it had a lot of aspects to it that were just pretty compelling. I did not think that this was like basic. It is completely different from how the first Mad Max Fury Road was told, because like I was telling Scott, with this one, there was actually like room to breathe. Whereas like the one with Tom Hardy, I mean, that is like just you are on the road. It never stops. And
yeah,
just pure chaos.
Right.
Now you understand like what's happening. They do a good job of making that clear. But I disagree with you on this. I thought the story was compelling. Yeah.
It's interesting,
I thought
too.
It was interesting.
It's interesting, too, because this one, because it's set in the past, that there's more, almost like Humanity, where people are talking more. It's more planning. You see the insides of the worlds, because it's not as chaotic yet, because the world's obviously decaying. And so Mad Max Fury Road is just like pure, just like animalistic rage, just like riding on the Fury Road, battling it out, super chaos. But this one, again, it's not so much because it's set in the past, so humanity hasn't crumbled as much as it has.
There was even
Fury
like,
Road.
well, on top of the fact that, so at the beginning of this movie, they're Furiosa, being a young girl. She is raised in like this little forest.
The Oasis, right?
They call it the place of abundance.
That's what they call it, but I don't remember what they called it in the first one, but yeah.
They call it, I just saw it. Something about mothers. The land of many mothers.
Okay. But anyways, so like she's raised there. And then even when she's taken away and she's taken to the Citadel, well, she's not taken there first, but she makes it to the Citadel, and they have the Citadel, Bullet Farm, and Gastown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So even like, because this is only set back like probably 20 years before Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
And like in Mad Max Fury Road, like there's no system, pretty much like no government except for like the main villain, who we were calling like the milk. The milk.
Baby milk guy.
The baby milk guy. We'll get that character name right.
Yeah.
Going into it. No, not Dementus.
Immortan Joe.
The one with
Immortan Joe.
Is it Immortan Joe?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, but so even 20 years prior to Mad Max Fury Road, like it is a total dystopia, but there is some level of like control, like a system in place. And like there is like kind of a balance and check system, like it works in its own messed up little way. And then, so as you were saying, like the way that everything is just crumbled and gone to dust, it happens that fast, because this takes place like 20 years before, and then you get to Mad Max Fury Road and it's just completely abolished.
Yeah.
Like there's literally, I mean, there's nothing with sanity happening or reasoning.
Right. Yeah. Because it's just fucking pure drive. Because I mean, Immortan Joe's already been screwed over by so many people. Chris Hemsworth's character is a fucking menace.
Yeah.
Dementus is a menace. Didn't rhyme as much as I thought.
Dementus is a menace. Dementus the menace.
There we go. That sounds better.
But yeah, so I like the way that the story was told. It definitely gives a great backstory into just when you first watch Mad Max Fury Road, I always thought that God, how do you pronounce her name?
Charlize Theron.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I always thought her character was like pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I was happy whenever they announced that she was getting like this backstory. And I thought it was done very well.
And it was cool seeing her at the end.
Yeah, like they connected the shots from Fury Road to Furiosa.
Yeah.
Like it was, yeah.
That was cool.
I liked it.
All right, so what do you rate it out of 10?
I'll give this like a 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I was entertained from beginning to end. I love that they went a different route in the storytelling, and I think this is a really, really great movie.
I felt that I was very entertained the whole time too. I was engaged the whole time. I really enjoyed the visuals. Thought the action scenes are awesome. Obviously, George Miller and these action scenes are just top notch because that's just what he does. But my biggest issue with it was I felt like a lot of the character motivations weren't really explained, and things just kind of happened without explanation or us knowing. We had to just kind of assume that this is what happened in the story versus us like really seeing it come to fruition. So I felt like I had to like catch up all the time. I just didn't understand why characters were doing what they were doing. It just seemed random, and maybe I just don't understand the Mad Max world enough because again, I haven't seen the old ones. I'm not big into the world of Mad Max, so that could maybe limit, my enjoyability of this movie. But again, like I thought it was awesome, but I just didn't think the story was that captivating to me. The vengeance part was nice. Watching her get revenge was cool, but everybody else, it just kind of, they would pop in, pop out. Didn't seem like it was motivated as well. So I'm going to give it a 6.3.
Scott?
I'm going to give it a 7. I think I like the first one a lot better. Yeah. I do love the world building in this one as well, because it is a little bit of a different world. But like a lot of bad green screen, a lot of bad CGI, which I feel like it's because it's an Australian film.
Yeah, okay.
But also the colors, like I feel like the colors weren't as cool as the first movie. I don't know. I
thought the colors were nice. I guess I noticed the times when it was cool, like when they have the blue trucks running over the, super saturated orange sands. That looks cool, but I do think, thinking about Fury Road, that was a lot more visually compelling. This one was very visually compelling, but the first one was just like over the top, badass visuals, cool colors, bright, eccentric, fun.
Yeah. I took it as with some of just the more, I'm trying to think, like one specific shot. One shot that comes to mind, it was like kind of towards the beginning, there's like a skull buried in the sand, and there's still like flesh like on top of the head, and there's like a lizard like kind of crawling out of the head and whatever, and then a truck runs it over. And so whenever I saw that shot and others like that, it definitely just kind of made it seem like this dystopian society that we're seeing right now is fairly new, like fairly recent. Like I think a lot of these people had a good taste in what life was like before whatever happened to cause like this apocalyptic world that we're seeing. I think even one of the characters like kind of explains that to Furiosa, the one that kind of takes her under his wing. I don't get his name, but he was one of the main drivers for like the big rig that they were. And he like talks about his parents and like how they were soldiers, and they like, they wanted to like essentially be a part of a better world. Yeah, they were good heroes. Yeah. Although they never like got the chance, or whatever the case was. But to me, it just seems like a lot of these people, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seems like these people like have a taste of what normality used to be. Yeah. And now they're just like kind of thrown into this crazy, like God has left us type world. And I just appreciated that. Also, it seemed like it was heavily inspired by like how Quentin Tarantino tells like a revenge story. With the chapters? Not only with the chapters, but I mean just like seeing a character driven by revenge and being able to like almost do like the impossible to get that revenge. And I get that that's typically for any movie, but like just the style of this, like Furiosa is always making the right moves, and even like when she does the right thing and shit still doesn't go the right way for her, like she's able to adapt, and it's just because she's driven by like just revenge. And I think I think of Kill Bill, I think of Django, and so I definitely saw some Tarantino like influence in this one. There's a lot of forces at work in the story that I just felt weren't motivated. Like there were so many people in different storylines and different conflicts
that kind of got in the way of her revenge. It didn't get in the way too much, but they were still showing it. And I just didn't think a lot of the character dynamics really had good motivations shown in the storyline. You could probably infer them by just knowing the characters and like deep diving them, but showing it, I didn't see much of it. Specifically when you were talking about the main driver, whatever his name was, and her, whenever like they teamed up, they just kind of teamed up out of nowhere. There's no real reason for him to side with her or pick her. Like maybe he was just good at heart and just saw who she was, like this scared girl.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was the only guy that was smart enough to know that she was obviously not a boy. Because at one point
he finds out with the long hair.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because you think like she was a boy. Everybody thought she was a boy. She had to go as a boy, and then out of nowhere, now she's a girl.
They might have been hinting at, a type of romance between them.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so
the way they touched every once in a while and like were sweet to each other.
Well, and then like when they're at the waterfall after he's like kind of cleaning her up, and then they like do
embrace
what they they like lock heads together like they used to do. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think that gives a character plenty of motivation to.
But before that, like
to decide to like drop everything,
Yeah, but then that love story wasn't really built up. It's just kind of like, oh, now they're together.
Yeah, and so I get that. That makes sense. Where that was just like, wait, really? Like there wasn't like he just found out she's a woman and a badass at that, and all of a sudden, you know what? Actually, it does make sense to me. maybe I do get
Barry's
it.
like, wait a second, I gave this 9.5. I better change my.
Wait a minute. I loved Furiosa.
Yeah.
I didn't really like how time passed in this movie, which kind of goes to what you're saying, because they skip to where they meet and they link up, and then it skips to they're done. Like she can go on her own way now. She's been his apprentice, and it's like, okay, that all this just happened. It didn't really like dive deep into the relationship. It just shows that they're close now.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like why they didn't explain why is he cool with just kind of risking his job to let her go free. Like, hey, don't worry, I'll give you food, a car, water, everything, and you can go on your own way. Like why? Why do you care about her? We haven't seen that yet in the story. It just kind of, we just have to assume, I guess they got close.
Yeah, it just kind of fades to black, comes back, and now they're close.
Yeah, now she's like his right-hand man, got the black forehead, ready to roll.
Yeah.
The black forehead.
Pretty badass look, though.
Get the digger.
It is cool, yeah.
And it's also, this is nothing really important, but I thought he kind of looked like Charlize Theron a little bit, or kind of like her. Like he had his eyes look kind of similar.
Almost
to him.
like siblings.
Oh, siblings? No,
they're not.
But
I see what you're talking about.
He looked similar, and also I thought Anya Taylor-Joy was good casting to be a younger Charlize Theron because they kind of looked the same at the end.
When they did like the transition, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Like when she's freeing all the women or the wives.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like I had to like.
Well, at the very end, it was Charlize Theron. At the very end,
but like you could almost like do a double take. Be like, wait, was that like they showed her again or no? Yeah. It was
because she had that glare. Like it was a time when she like looked back at something and got in the car. Mm-hmm. She had that stare. I was like, oh, she's matching the actress so well.
Yeah,
like it was so perfect. It's also cool casting her because she has a very like sweet face with big eyes, not intimidating at all, super timid looking, and so it's interesting to see the shit she's been through. This like sweet girl just turns and wants to just put all of her hatred towards this man and just like is such a savage.
Yeah. As far as a tale of vengeance, like I did appreciate the fact that like they spent a very good amount of time on explaining why Furiosa like wanted to kill Dementus. Yeah.
Dementus the Menace.
Like they did not rush that at all. I mean, in fact, at one point I looked at Scott. I was like, "We're never getting Anya Taylor-Joy."
Yeah,
she's never. It was just a lie.
Yeah, not half because it's a long movie, but a large chunk at the beginning. You're like, "Damn, is she coming in the movie at all?"
Yeah, I mean, I would say like half.
And talking about bad CGI and good CGI, there were some times where the CGI was pretty excellent, where you could barely tell. Like I think that little girl was CGI'd a little bit to look like Anya Taylor-Joy. Is it Anna? Anna? What is it?
I don't think so.
Anya. Oh, I've been saying Anna.
That was Anya.
Yeah, it is.
Is it Anya?
It is Anya. I didn't know there was a Y in it. That's my bad. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Sorry, Pod.
But this girl, the little girl in the beginning scenes looked like she was CGI'd.
I don't think so.
No, I felt like she was to look a little bit like her. There were some times where it looked a little cartoonish. Yeah, let's see what she looks like. What's her name? Anya Alia Brown.
Alila?
Alilala? But yeah, there definitely was some times where the CGI wasn't that great. Like the big one that the CGI wasn't good, that you could really tell it was CGI, was when they approached the first time that Dementus showed up at the Citadel and was like, "Hey, this is mine now. Fuck y'all." And he's like, "Really? Watch this." And they send one of their guys to Valhalla, and he's like, any one of these motherfuckers will do it, and they'll be happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there's no way you're taking this. And when they come in and they rope up all the motorcycles and the rigs and stuff, and they start swinging them by the chains, the swinging was so not natural. Like, it felt like it wasn't real. You could tell, like, the way they swung was just kind of like a little off, maybe too slow.
I always thought that was just kind of like the way that he's shot these movies, because everything is like typically sped up, like with the Mad Max. And so I didn't notice that, but
I was more thinking like when they show a big crowd of like all the cars are going up and people are falling off of cars, like the way they fall, you could just tell they're animated. Yeah,
there was some overlap on if a guy fell and then a motorcycle would like come over him, but not run over him, but just kind of like go through him. You know, you could tell this little, fake CGI body there. Yeah, there's definitely some CGI moments where you're kind of like, oh, that's CGI. But you talked about
the first one hardly used any CGI.
Yeah, the only CGI they had was to get the wiring and stuff off, right?
That's right. Yeah, or at least I think it was something like that. But for the most part, like the first, like Fury Road, like I don't think it used much.
Like the guitar.
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
CGI.
He was CGI.
I mean,
his car.
Like
I thought it was all real. Like they all shot it actual, without any CGI, just like rigged people up.
No, the flames were real. I know that. Yeah. Like they gave him a guitar that like had the power to like shoot flames out of the truck that he was in.
What a fun ass movie set to be on. Just ripping these cars. Like imagine being a stuntman on this, dude. This is like the best case. This is the best gig.
I think there were minimal injuries as well. Like I don't really think. It's kind of shocking that nobody died. Like when you're doing
during
this
production,
kind of
you're
stuff,
saying?
Yeah, like when you're doing this kind of stuff, you just have a shit ton of trucks, cars, whatever, like going this fast, and like you got flames shooting out of guitars, and you literally like have cars flipping out.
Yeah.
Not one person died.
No.
That's pretty. I think that's pretty huge.
I thought.
But they're professionals, I suppose.
Yeah. But again, I think the action scenes were top tier. I loved every single part whenever there was some action. They're always so cool. George Miller does a great job of making these things look awesome.
What did we think of Chris Hemsworth's character? Because, what? Did I say it wrong?
No. I liked him.
Oh.
I was going to say it.
Going into it, I didn't think I was going to like him. But I definitely, for me, it kind of felt funny. Like I felt like I was just like watching this dystopian Thor.
Yeah.
Like he even had the red cape too.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like they might have been poking a little fun. Like
maybe.
They might have been.
But he grew on me. In the beginning when I first saw him, I thought it was a little silly. Yes. Also his nose, obviously we know his nose is fake because we know what Chris Hemsworth looked like, but the nose looked like it was a little bit different color than his skin. But as the movie progressed, it seemed like it looked better. Maybe I just got used to it.
I think that's the thing. They wanted to take, because we're used to seeing Chris Hemsworth as like a charming, he's like one of Hollywood's like, best looking actors pretty much out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but going with a character like this, you really want to take that out and make the audience forget that this is Thor.
Well, yeah, because you can't have the perfect specimen of Chris Hemsworth be a not degenerate, but like be a warlord in the Wastelands, because everybody is deformed, fucked up, got disease, something. Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Furiosa, is the only one that's what do they call her? Full body? Pure body? Whatever she was.
Yeah, like untouched.
Yeah, she was essentially healthy because she grew up in an environment that was like the real world, where she got real nourishment, drank water,
which is why
had all of her limbs.
The nose, I think, was actually like just the perfect Like he's still there, you can recognize him, but like it definitely helped like his character just be. It definitely took Chris Hemsworth like out of the equation, and like it felt like it helped him like embody the role a little bit better, or at least made me, the audience, buy it.
He does a good job playing a savage. Like when he's in Thor, he's obviously a god, a badass. In this movie, he's a savage warlord that runs this giant motorcycle army. But he's
not good. Like he's not a good leader.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He does a good job of like portraying the power, but also kind of like not being silly, but like he does things that you kind of like recognize his fault and recognize he's not as tough as he says he is. It's kind of a show a bit.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even say tough. Like I think he's tough, but he keeps making it seem like he's for the people.
Yeah.
His whole thing is like, I want everybody's bellies full. I want everybody's like, everybody gets as much water as they
false
want.
Promises.
Absolutely not. Like he is. So you said at the beginning what you didn't like was like characters' motives. The world is shitty right now. Like no matter how you're gonna live, like in this world, in this movie, like it's gonna suck. But you may as well like make it not suck like as much as you can. Mm-hmm. And so he's just looking out for him. He doesn't care about any of his like soldiers.
I mean, he shoots
people.
them
he shoots them on the big rig
when he's trying to prove to the other guy that
to open the gate. Yeah,
he's
this is like a real attack.
We got to make it show that it's real.
Yeah. So like, and then you find out like he takes over Gastown, and then like as the story progresses, you find out that like he's doing a terrible job, so terrible that all of his like followers, people, whatever, like they're turning on him.
Well, there's so many fucking people that like they didn't increase the supplies they got by much. When he wanted to double, they said, "I'll give you a quarter on only potatoes. I'll increase your water by."
And he was like, "Deal."
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So he's letting everybody have the wealth. He's probably taking a lot for himself, but he's letting everybody have everything because he's like, letting everybody like spreading the wealth. That's like his whole promise.
Yeah.
And that just dries up what you have. All your supplies just go out the window.
Yeah. Well, and it even shows like, so before he took over Gastown, like you get to see the inside of like the main tower. And like pretty much the owner of Gastown, like how he was living in it, very clean, polished up. Like he was like doing artwork to it, like around the wall. It was very well maintained, and it shows, Dementus. Keep wanting to say dementia. It shows Dementus, and like he's like living like a sloppy king, pretty much. Like he's got couches in there, like food on the floor. He's got his dogs up there. Mm-hmm. Like he's very clearly just enjoying the fact that like he made it to the top.
Yeah, he's not leading his people.
Not at all.
He's rah-rahing them up, and then that's it.
Yeah,
returns back to his palace.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, like to see like him kind of just keep slithering and like getting away with stuff.
Yeah,
I like how they portray that he's like dumb. And it's kind of like that's how he got power. He seems brave because he's just stupid and will do it, whatever.
Yeah, he straight up just goes to the Citadel, not even understanding like what the people are like, what they are. Like he doesn't even know what he's going into, and he's like, abandon your leaders, not knowing that
they think Immortan Joe is an immortal god.
Yes, like he deems them worthy of going to Valhalla.
Yeah, that's why they'll do it. He's like, you are granted access.
Which
they're like, let's go.
Which, God, that just shows like how much of a dystopian society that they live in, that they like just straight up don't even care to live comfortable lives because they've just, there's no selling them that the planet that they live on is worthy of like any type of hope. So the only real promise that they have is like, okay, like this sucks. Like you're pretty much in hell right now. Mm-hmm. But if you fight well for me and go out like a hero, then you make it to the promised land.
Yeah, and I'm sure
they've never seen a glimpse of that. All they're ever told is just fairy tales.
Yeah, and I'm sure the promise of Valhalla is way better than what they're living through right now.
Definitely.
They're like, yes, please, get me the fuck out of here. I wonder what what do you get in Valhalla? What are the Vikings, what were they promised in Valhalla when they died in battle? A glorious death.
I think it's just
a bunch of virgins.
I think it's just heaven. My God, what?
That's what, well, okay. It says in Norse mythology, Valhalla is a great hall in Asgard. the god's celestial fortress, where the souls of warriors who died in battle are welcomed. In Valhalla, warriors can enjoy nearly eternal existence of feasting, fighting, and festivities.
Ironically, you see one of these people that thinks that he's died, and the first person he sees is Chris Hemsworth, who's played Thor, god of, what's it called, Asgard?
Yeah, that's funny.
So he kind of
am I in Valhalla?
Yeah.
Thor?
Kind of a funny, like, first line to just throw in there.
It's also funny that in the future, when it gets back to shittiness of just, like, savagery, they go back to believing Valhalla. And they just go back in their beliefs somehow. And that means it probably is further than you thought, because, I mean, if these guys are believing in Valhalla, no way they had a glimpse of the real world. They would obviously know that Valhalla's bullshit. Like if all these soldier boys, what are their names?
War boys.
If all the war boys had seen the real world, they probably wouldn't be willing to die for Valhalla, for Immortan Joe.
I think they have I don't know. I mean, there's definitely like, there's a message there as far as like religion, brainwashing.
Definitely.
Just deep and dark.
What do we know? Does it say how far away this was from present day? Or is it just, whenever the case in the future?
Because Valhalla, I get what you're saying. Like, they clearly were like...
And all those guys are bred by the mothers, or the wives, I mean. Let's see. Well, it says the Mad Max first one was set in the 1980s. Yes, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder... so this says Mad Max Fury Road was possibly 2050. So that means that Mad Max Saga is 1930. Okay, so actually it was in the 1980s.
Damn.
So a different dimension where 1980 is the start of Mad Max. Mm-hmm. And then 2050 was Fury Road. So 2030. Fuck, dude. Better start saving our gas.
Yeah, I mean, one could say that this is like a movie, kind of propaganda for
the end of the world,
global warming, fossil fuels.
Not really though, because they fucking love their fossil fuels.
Climate change.
They love their gasoline.
They love motors.
Even after
they love their big monster trucks, their big fast monster trucks that can climb mountains.
Love engines.
Even in the dystopian future, there's a large supply of oil still, where they can just burn gas, shoot flames out of their guitars. They don't give a fuck. They got a whole gas town.
Hollywood, make up your mind.
It's Australia.
It's Australia. Different than Hollywood.
Sorry, Australia. Great storytelling.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem though, was the character relations and then the skipping in time, like you said.
I do like, so in Fury Road, it's Immortan Joe.
Yes.
That's like the antagonist name.
Yes.
You hate him. He's disgusting. He's just an ugly creature. I don't know what's going on with that mask, but then like he's got all these beautiful wives and you're just, I don't know. I think you're kind of led to believe that he like mistreats them probably. Mm-hmm. And then this first movie, like actually to me, like gave me like this weird like level of respect. Like he's smart, cunning. He actually treats the ladies decent as a dystopian leader can.
Yeah.
He gives them 3 chances to give him a boy and then he kills them.
2 strikes you're out.
No, it's 3.
I thought he said 2 strikes you're out.
3.
No, it's 3.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He gives them 3 chances. They're still messed up, but like I don't know what the stakes are now.
And even then they just become the milk.
Yeah, they
milkers.
still, they still don't die.
Milk mothers. What do they call them?
I don't
You'd
know.
be a great milk something.
Yeah, I just know him as the milk drinking guy.
Baby milk guy.
Yeah, but yeah, baby milk guy. But in this movie, like he's decisive. He's not necessarily unfair. Like I kind of have like a different level of respect.
Well, it's interesting because Furiosa, she sometimes needs him.
Yeah,
like she kind of turns to him for help.
So I think that's the other thing is like Furiosa also respects him.
No, I don't think she respects him, but she sees him where he could benefit her and her plan. I'm not so sure she respects what he's doing because she literally escapes first chance she gets. But she turns because she just hates Dementus so much.
Well, she also knows. Yes. Okay. So I get that. Like, you have to understand, like, when she took the wives with her, like, leading into Fury Road, like, that was just because she knows of a better place.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much as, like, hatred. Like, those ladies were doing okay, but they could be doing better in her eyes.
Yeah, they're all innocent.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of bonding between her and the wives, so that way when she does save them in Fury Road, that's like a big point because they had a relationship. Versus like she was just kind of with them and then like dipped out early. So it just didn't dive into like the character relations as well. Like she only cared about her vengeance against Dementus, and then the way she got there wasn't explained as well. Like I followed the story, but a lot of times, again, skipping in time, I'm like, okay, I guess that happened.
She couldn't possibly relate to the wives.
And then the whole plan. So like whenever can we find out that name of the other driver she was with? I don't know his name, but when they had the plan, Praetorian Jack.
Yeah.
Is that him? Rictus Erectus.
That's the
Scrotus. Those are funny names. Anyway, so whenever they go and they find the gun bullet shop or whatever that Dementus just took over, and they kind of like crash it to escape, that whole plan was never really talked about, or just we just stumble upon the stories like, okay, now I guess they're doing their escape plan. So it's like not really developed. It's just like, here we go, escape plan.
Yeah, but I kind of like that. I mean, it was full of surprises. Like, you didn't really know like what they were doing. Like, it just unfolded as you watched. But
no.
then you could clearly tell like when shit did not go according to plan.
Yeah, let me clarify. I did like at first when they did stop and we know they're doing some type of plan where he's like, get out, you're not driving the thing, you're driving this. She's like, what? She's like pretending like she doesn't want to drive the car. But obviously they know what they're doing. They're playing to the crowd. And so that part was good. But when they pulled up into it, why was it explained why Dementus was there? Was it just he just so happened to be there? And a lot of coincidences happened that I felt like could have been probably explained better. Or maybe not explained better. I mean, built up better to where it kind of was more impactful versus he's there. Maybe I can kill him.
Yeah, not exactly sure. I know leading up to that, Dementus like had said like he has 3 days to meet up all the warlords. I want a meeting with all of them. And so maybe by him delivering that message, he thought that the bullet, well, I guess that is how it worked out. Because the bullet farm leader like left for the Citadel, and that's when he like went to take it over. So strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had him leave bullet farm and he knew it was unattended. So then he decided to move in and take bullet farm in that moment and take all the bullets. So he was going to essentially just rob the city and take it all to Gastown.
Yeah, because he tricked him by saying, I'm going to Gastown, but not really. I'm actually going to.
And so that's when, by the time Furiosa makes it back to the Citadel, she very clearly understands like what the game plan is for Dementus. Like, that's why she's able to just explain it, because she survived. And if she hadn't survived, he would have taken over the Citadel because he had all the bullets he needed. He just robbed the city dry. So yeah, there was, you could like kind of put that together. I guess like as like watching it.
Yeah, it just didn't feel as impactful because I just felt like as an audience member, you had to assume a lot of things, kind of put the pieces together, which is okay sometimes. But when it's like big stretches of things, it's like, I need a little bit more guidance on this.
I don't know. I just put it together.
I know that, but I'm right. But like watching it, you have to just kind of like, okay, I guess that, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But it like goes back to the fades out, like they link up, fades out, fades back, and they're done.
You don't really know like how much time is passing in between like a lot of these interactions, which I will say is like to a fault.
I just kind of kept doing that.
Yeah.
It's a style. Not my favorite.
Yeah. But it is style.
It is style. It's pretty funny that the young was he? I don't know if he was young, but like the dwarf guy
The small war boy.
Say it.
was small war boy. What's his name?
Say it.
He's just a war boy. They don't have names.
He's
the second lead. Whenever you Google this movie and the cast, he's gonna be the second person you see.
because he had the second most amount of screen time.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, they cut to him so many times.
Yeah, this director is weird, bro.
Has he just made Mad Max? What else has George Miller made? Because like, there's really no reason. Like, we don't even know who the fuck this dwarf is. He's just like one of the guys that's just laying on the lettuce.
They could have had like a normal body war boy like doing the exact same job. They just threw
You got to show.
They just threw Big Man in there.
You got to show deformities, and you got to show disease, and you got to show like everybody looked kind of jacked up.
Which I respect.
Respect, but also, what the fuck was this?
The people eater.
Yeah, he's like with Immortal Jack.
Immortal Joe.
I think it's his right hand man, maybe.
Yeah, but he's always rubbing his nips.
They're dry, bro.
And he's got like.
Can you imagine how hot he is under that suit?
He's got clamps on him. I'm like distracted. I'm like, what is the point of this?
He's horned up 24/7. He's got piercings through
To
him.
me, he definitely like. It seems like it's kind of the message of like a president or a prime minister
having nipple piercings.
They just do this when they're in power.
Yeah, it's like a South Park move. Like, oh no, we can't leave the Citadel. This is where we're supposed to stay. This is where we're safest.
I just watched the South Park one with the detectives, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a raging clue right now."
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, it's like that. But have you seen like the South Park episode where like they're trying to like figure out the cable? They're like, no, like we need it. He was like, oh God, it's gonna take us about 2 weeks to get somebody out there, and then maybe.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we don't have 2 weeks. He's like, oh, you don't have 2 weeks? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you should switch to another provider. Oh, we're the only one in town. Oh no, that's this guy.
Yes, he's the brains of the operation.
Damn,
and the nipples.
Damn, now my nipples hurt. I got way too deep into that character.
But then
my nipples, Scott, they hurt.
This is gonna make him hurt worse.
God.
When Dementus rips his off. Like, what is this director in nips, bro?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he loves some
when did
male
he rip
nipples.
his nipples off?
When he's got the old mayor of Gastown in the spring.
That's what happened?
It's
what do you mean?
I remember. No, I remember. Oh.
And then they rip off.
Whoa.
I'm like, what was that?
And he liked it. Dementus liked it.
Yeah.
Dementus has made it. I mean, he does make it very clear at the end. Well, his end in the desert, that he is like just surrounded by this like crippling darkness, like in his world.
Mm-hmm.
Because he tells Furiosa, he's like, I lost my childhood too. I lost everything. You think I grew up great? Like it's been a terrible, awful, godforsaken life my entire time. He was like, now I do literally anything and everything I can to just get away from this darkness and feel some type of different sensation.
Mm-hmm.
So ripping off nipples is when he's just like, it feels good to feel.
Yeah.
It feels good to be away from this darkness. That's why he rips off the nipples.
He's also just a straight up psychopathic gaslighter, where he's like, yeah, I killed her mother because I wanted to make her tough for the Wasteland. Yeah. I did this for her. Did it for her. Like, did you? Really?
No, you definitely were. Yeah, totally were on a mission to find like the place of abundance.
Yes.
You're never going to guess his other movies.
Happy Feet, let me guess.
Wait.
Do you know Babe?
No.
The pig movie? Y'all have never seen that?
Maybe when I was a little boy.
Nah, I definitely haven't.
Young boy.
The only pig movie that I still don't even know if I've seen, I just remember seeing trailers for a bunch when I was a kid, was Charlotte's Web.
The sad one, dude.
It's similar to Charlotte's Web. Babe. Y'all haven't seen Babe, bro.
Charlotte's Web is sad.
Nah, bro. I saw Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound? But That's kind of funny. George Miller makes these fucking over the top, just insane Mad Max movies, and he
But then
makes
he
like
goes back-
Happy Feet.
Children's
Babe.
movies.
But he's also for the kids.
Shout out Georgie.
Georgie.
George Miller for the kids.
Creeps me out.
He,
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that.
yeah. Well,
He's Australian though, so
he's an Aussie.
What does that mean, mate?
He
scary.
I'm for the kiddos.
the girl that played young kid Furiosa. Usually kid actors aren't that great, but
Great job.
She was great.
Fantastic.
She did great showing like.
Oh, Scott.
Oh, damn. Right as I started explaining why I liked it, he's like, "Pfft, bullshit."
Scott said,
Go
hell
ahead.
no.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear.
These kid
I
actors,
want to hear.
leave them to the kid movies.
Even the kid movies.
No, I thought showing her pain, her being silent, you could see like the kind of the rage in her eyes.
Agreed, Cade. Talk to him.
Talk to him, son.
Talk to him.
What didn't you like about her acting?
I mean, she's pretty much silent the whole time, right? And you got to be a really good actor to silently act.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like she did best when she's in the cage cart
With the mask?
with the mask, and she's just kind of mad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when she did the best. The rest of it, I'm just like, classic.
So
kid
you
acting.
loved her. You thought her best acting was when she was not able to show her face at all.
Scott
She's
is
caged
not
up.
for the kids.
She's locked up. She's not able to move. Can't talk. Can't really express anything. That's when she was the best.
I don't know, man. Just you got a vibe.
Everybody gets that vibe.
Because it was the costume that was doing the acting.
I was wondering when I was watching it, is like, how did Anya Taylor-Joy get cast for this? Because like for a large majority of the movie, she doesn't talk at all. So it's kind of like, how did she audition for this? Just like the way she had her, like her face, just like being mad.
Tom Hardy. I mean, pretty much the same thing. How many
No,
words?
he grunted a lot.
No, I mean, I feel like this is look upable. Like how many?
I think he's calling you out, bro.
How many words does Tom Hardy get out in Fury Road? Like how many lines does he really have? I really feel like when I think of that movie, I do not remember him talking. I know that the grunts that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You almost like can't even hear him. Like you don't even really understand what he's saying.
On Reddit, it says Mad Max and Fury Road only had 63 lines of dialogue.
Not much.
So obviously, if there's only 63 lines of dialogue, that means
Furiosa.
Oh,
It's talking about in total. Wow. Not
there's only 80 lines of dialogue in this movie.
Yeah,
See, that actually really surprises me.
no, it tracks.
Huh?
I said,
Oh,
no,
it
that
makes
tracks.
total sense to you?
I mean, it does. They didn't talk
Yeah.
much. It was just mostly just.
No, but I'm just thinking about, I mean, Chris Hemsworth, his character. I mean, God,
He talked a
Kinda
lot.
the only
Talked
one,
a
yeah.
lot.
I mean, yeah, Furiosa talked literally
I'm surprised
a
to
handful
see.
of times.
I'm surprised to see that this movie didn't have more total lines than Fury Road. Seemed like there was a lot more dialogue.
Definitely. I mean, 20 more.
Yeah,
It definitely did. I wouldn't think of it as silently filmed as Fury Road.
Yeah, because like we
It
said,
seems like it's more than just 20 when you
I
compare.
feel like dialogue just gives you more room to breathe and like process what's happening. I feel like in Fury Road, you're kind of like the characters in the movie itself, whereas like you're just thrown into this crazy little world
yeah.
and you don't understand what's happening, but you're just on this road and you're fighting this battle and you don't even really understand what it's for. But in this movie, I felt like it was pretty clear what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like I thought the dialogue like was able to fill you in on like, okay, this is what's happened and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it would have been better if this movie came out first and then Mad Max Fury Road came out. Like
Yeah.
Fury Road would have been a great sequel to this, obviously, because this was the prequel, but
Yeah.
just kind of like, because this one shows you the inner workings of kind of like the dynamics of the power of the world, and then Mad Max doesn't do that at all. You're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, you'll
Maybe
be
you're
able to show it to your kids.
Maybe you're supposed to know with the old ones. That's just like, obviously we're
See,
not fans.
Yeah, and
of
so
the,
we
of the
so we
series.
talked about this before I do feel bad like going in to watching like this saga based on a world that was built in the 1980s and we haven't seen any of them. So like I feel like there's so many references that we're probably missing, which sucks. You know, sorry to let our fans down. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I'm just apologizing.
We're just talking about Furiosa. We ain't comparing to the old ones because
like that's the thing. Like we're just missing so much. We're talking about like,
we're watching Endgame before we even seen Avengers 1.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're watching and we're talking about like, oh, this dystopia. Like I don't know. It seems like the society like might have said we have no fucking clue.
Mad Max fans are fucking pissed.
They could be.
They probably stopped
listening. That's why. I'm
I
sorry.
I didn't know it started like in actual society. You see this?
Oh yeah. So the Mad Max 1980 trailer is like in the real world.
Oh, so I was right. Fuck you, Mad Max fans.
Wow. Damn, we should watch them, dude. If they're like this, if they're like in the real world, we should definitely watch the old ones.
We should.
Maybe make that an episode. At some point.
We are the ones that create our own destinies on the show. We literally pick the movies.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. But I bet they're pretty good. I mean, if they made this many of them, and people are still hype about Fury Road,
I'm sure the world building. Like I'm sure that's just very. I think this story was kind of ahead of its time.
Does it show the fall of humanity? I'm sure it has to over the course of these things, all the way up to fucking Fury Road, where it's just straight up dystopia, just like straight up gasoline wars.
Because there's what 3.
How many OGs are there? There's at least 3.
There's 3.
Mad Max, then like Road to Thunderdome. So Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and then Fury Road was the 4th.
Okay. So there are 3 OGs.
Damn. Yeah, we gotta do it. Yeah, because it looks like it definitely crumbles. Society crumbles through the course of this.
Well, maybe this will be good. Because then once we like watch the original Mad Max, after seeing these 2, you know, we'll probably be able to like see references that the director made to like the first ever one made. So
I mentioned this before, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
We can fix this.
Yeah,
we can patch this up, Kade.
The Mad Max Thunderdome one is that was a Rick and Morty inspiration episode.
Yeah. Yep.
I mentioned this before, but it's just they never really explain it at all, like not once, about Furiosa joining the War Boys and then pretending to be a boy, and then all of a sudden she has like her hair done nicely. Obviously, she's an actress; they're gonna make her look good. But like in the movie, she's supposed to be like this savage car driver, but she has like her hair done, and she's clearly a fucking girl. Nobody can mistake her as a dude. Yet nobody really talks about it. She's just like, it's like cool that she's a female driver. There's no females.
Well, they didn't know she was. They know she's a girl at that point when she has hair. Before that, she's wearing a cap and hiding her hair.
Yeah.
And then she like proved herself or something. I don't really remember.
Yeah, she's the right-hand man of the guy that's literally making the big trips. Like, I don't think anybody's going to question his judgment on that.
So but there's no other dudes
Female
in it, so I just figured they wouldn't allow females to be in the War Boy crew. War Boy.
I think that...
Not War Girl. This is for us.
I see. Yeah.
There's not a lot of girls in the world.
Yeah, they're all meant to breed War Boys.
Well, no, but then that still kind of confuses me because Immortan Joe like is only wanting boys bred.
Yeah, I know.
So, not really following that. But I am with like I mean that would make sense. Like girls would be. You would think girls would be more precious. You would think Immortan Joe probably doesn't care about like incest. Like him having a daughter means like okay,
She can breed.
Yeah.
Well, but
that's not the case.
Yeah, like he takes care of the females because he has to have strong war boys born. So like he needs the females to be healthy and well fed and nourished. So like they're all like on this nice area.
Well,
that could be it.
This says he doesn't trust his current sons. He wants a new son to carry on his legacy.
Okay.
Citadel.
Yeah, his first 2 sons are fucking dumb as shit.
I mean, you didn't really give him much hope
you
when you named him Scrotus and Rectus. It was just so funny. We all had the same reaction when he said Scrotus. We're like, what? And then he said, and my name is Rectus. And we're like, oh, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Gotcha. Like, that was totally done on
Immortal
purpose.
Joe hates his sons.
Like, and they both prove not so much like abnormalities, but like they definitely show that like they're not totally right up there.
No. It's funny because like you would think Immortal Joe, like if he's going to name him names like Scrotus and Rectus, which are obviously, private parts of humans.
You have to remember that this is a dystopian society, so things are probably like not normal. Like maybe they earned those names like as they grew into children.
I don't know, but it's just funny that you think Immortal Joe, if he's going to name him those kind of names, you would think maybe he would name him something more along the lines of like, about like, I don't know, the testicles, like the actual balls of a man, or like the dick of a man, not like the scrotum and the rectus.
Even worse.
It's like those aren't even like distinguishing like powerful organs. It's like you're gonna name them that. Like those are like not that cool of names. The scrotum, just the sack, not even the balls.
Yeah.
You know what
My
I mean?
name is Testicle.
All sack,
and
no
I
balls.
am penis.
Yeah, dude. Why didn't you name him that?
I'd still be pretty fucking pissed, but I think they're just too dumb to even understand it because they say it with such pride.
All sack, no balls,
I
and
am
butthole.
Scrotus.
They also kind of show that everyone's dumb because, like, there's no school or anything
Yeah, there's
anymore.
no education.
Yeah, I like that.
That's why that makes sense of why Furiosa is so powerful, because she actually thinks for herself, because she was
Smart.
raised in probably a legitimate society, and she can actually like do shit. They're also fucking insanely good shots.
Oh my god! Again,
I mean, they are insane snipers.
Pick-
She didn't even
yeah.
train. Like she grew up as a little girl and then picked up a sniper rifle way later in life.
Just
and
got it from her mom, I guess.
yeah, just fucking piecing them up.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool about how the protectors, everybody in that little society, they cannot allow any of these savages in the wasteland to know about this. So they like nobody can survive. They do whatever it takes to kill somebody. Like they chase them through the desert to make sure they die, so that way they can't go back and respond. And Furiosa obviously respects it because she wants to go back to her home. She's not going to be the one that her mother died. She's not going to be the one that ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, which is such a tough concept to like think about.
Yeah.
Because, when they finally make the switch to Anya Taylor-Joy, like, fuck, like, she never had an opportunity to make it home? Absolutely not. Because she, like you said, doesn't want to be the one that, like, ruins that, like, last little bit of utopia.
Like I love that
She's
pride.
waiting for the perfect moment.
I love that pride they have for their little civilization, because like whenever that guy, she tries to kill the guy before he can tell where he was just at, he's like about to say it and she fucking kicks him in the throat to make sure he like bleeds out and is like dead. Like I love that. Like she's so young, but she is so instilled in this protection of her society. Looks up to her mother, who's like probably a big name in that society, and she's like, we'll do whatever it takes. She knows the importance of keeping it secret, even as a young girl.
Yeah.
But she grows up to be a badass.
I thought it was good. This movie, just like, I loved the character development. I love that we got like a really good backstory into a character that I thoroughly enjoyed.
In a world, too.
Right, in the world.
A little
Yeah.
bit of a backstory, but
Yeah, I mean, it does justice for both. I mean, this shows like how quickly things are deteriorating in this world that has been built in Mad Max.
yeah.
Like you are able to see that in 20 years, I mean, cities, civilizations like are just crumbling. Like it's happening this fast. So how much longer can this world even really last?
Yeah, it's this story. It's like it's obviously about Furiosa's revenge against Dementus, and then leading up to Fury Road. But there's so much that goes on in this that like I'm interested in, but they like have to gloss over it. But it also kind of like damn, that was interesting. Like when they talk about they were talking about all the wars that happened throughout history.
Yeah,
They go all the way back to fucking the, what is it? You remember the first war they said?
when History Man is like explain, or no, the
whatever the voiceover is.
nipple guy, and he's like kind of like putting together the strategy, and he's talking about like the history of world.
He goes all the way back to like the Sumerians, and then he comes to like in line with the Sumerians. Like, this is an important enough war to be related to like all these giant wars throughout history. He talked about the 40-day war of gasoline or whatever it was. I forget the name of it. Like, that obviously is a big, probably that could be his own fucking movie, probably.
The 40-day,
kinda gloss
the
over it.
40-day war of the Wasteland. I think it was something like that.
Yeah. So like that's like a big pivotal part of this world's story, not the story we're watching, but the world story. They kind of just like gloss over it. So it's like there's like these little glimpses into like some really interesting parts, but they don't really show it because they can't. It's not the story, but it's like, why even show it? That's interesting. But maybe that's not even a fair critique because I mean it is cool and maybe it doesn't matter.
They did the same thing in Fury Road, and I actually saw this on Twitter before we watched this. But in Fury Road, they show like this random, like kind of during the night time scene, it was like a nighttime scene, and it's like almost like they're in a swamp. Scott, did you see
No,
this?
that's
What about it?
Like, well, they just show like these people in some weird, like, I really don't even know how to describe it, but they never explain it.
No,
Like,
they
you
did.
just-
I think they did. I may be wrong here, but I think what you're talking about is in Fury Road when they go through like that. It's blue. It's wet.
Mhm.
There's like
It's
birds.
nighttime.
It's night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the Oasis, or whatever the female city was. 'Cause remember they passed through it, and then when they met the females, they said, "Oh, you've already passed it. Like it's gone. We lost it." I may be wrong on this.
But the characters that were like walking through the field,
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
that's more of the explanation. That I think you might be right on that. But like they showed like just kind of like these scavenger people that look like they're capable of being very powerful. But like you just never really get an explanation on it.
And again, we don't know the backstory of the Mad Max.
But I
Like
think
maybe we should know that from being like if we were fans of the entire series.
No, because that was something I saw on Twitter, and like everybody was like talking about like, yeah, that is like still like you just thought it was going to be a very intricate part of the story at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a high and by scene.
Yeah, like they show things of this world that's like, what is that? And then they just don't tell you.
Yeah. And the last thing you really ever saw, or I guess like the last time you saw something like that be done was like Star Wars. So maybe one day it's just like, I don't know, maybe you can just throw that in there and then you hope that whoever like wants to make another like Mad Max type world story, they can like
Dive into it.
dive into that on their own.
But maybe it's like that on purpose because the Wasteland is so fucked up. People are like, what the fuck is that?
yeah.
It's like maybe we're not supposed to know, and also maybe the characters don't even know. Because like, dude, the Wasteland's fucking crazy. Like
Mhm.
we don't even know what the hell,
This is
what even
yeah.
this is. Like there's people on
There's
stilts over
literally,
here walking through
we've
the thing.
never heard about this area of the world. But yeah, I could see that.
Because like, I mean, Dementus was a big guy in the Wasteland. He's a giant fucking crew of men, and nobody knew about the Citadel.
Right. Yeah.
So like, maybe that's the whole
I
thing.
had
That there's
no
so many.
idea what they were walking into. That's still so funny to me. Like
Yeah.
just the delivery of that scene.
And Dementus has a powerful fucking army. He's got men.
Yeah.
He's got bodies.
But he doesn't have people that are like willing to die and go to heaven for him.
Yeah, spray paint their mouths gold and die in honor.
What a glorious day.
I don't know what fandom is, but this is what it says.
The green place, now a fetid and laminate bog filled with mud and dead trees, is currently inhabited by stilt-walking settlers who use long stilts to walk across the bog. They live in tree houses made of wood and feathers high above the poisonous swamp.
So
That's
that
who
is
those
where
people were.
That's where they crossed.
And this is based on a website called Fandom, where it's probably fan theories.
That was the green place, and it says the green place used to be inhabited. Can you scroll down a little bit, Scott? It said the green place was once inhabited by the, I don't know that word, Vulvalini of many mothers. So like that's where she came from, and that swamp used to be the green place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they called it in Fury Road, the green place, not the Oasis. The green place.
The green place of many mothers.
Yeah.
The place of abundance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all right.
All right. Yeah, I'll totally trust a fan theory.
Say it again.
I'll totally trust a fan theory.
What is going on with that?
I'll totally trust a fan theory.
There we go. All right. Final thoughts on not Mad Max. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
I love that they went in a different direction. Because I will say, before watching this movie, I was worried that it was just going to be like the same exact thing as Mad Max Fury Road, which I loved. But if you're going to make a prequel, sequel, whatever, you gotta do it differently. So I'm glad that there was room to breathe, kind of gather my thoughts, understand the characters. I was a big fan of this movie. I think it's definitely a movie that I will watch again, and I think I'll enjoy it probably even more the second time, just as I did Fury Road. Yeah, I definitely this is a movie that I think a lot of people will enjoy.
Yeah, I did like it. I just think there was a lot going on and a lot of assumptions you had to be made throughout the movie. And I think they could have developed a lot of stuff better, maybe the character relationships and dynamics better. But again, it's a prequel. Maybe the reason why he didn't really dig into these character dynamics is because we're just going to know these characters probably die because we know that Fury Road is next. And if we don't see these characters, they probably didn't survive it. And we obviously know that Furiosa didn't make it to the green place again. So
yeah, that one does suck.
So, there's some things that we, maybe that's why it wasn't as developed as well. But again, I think I was expecting a little bit better. I did enjoy it. Visuals were awesome. Fun to watch. Cool shots, cool characters, obviously. But I just didn't really like that the characters weren't explained enough in their motivations and relationships. Scott, final thoughts.
Entertaining movie. I was just comparing it to Fury Road, and yeah,
which is fair to do.
Let me down.
Yeah, Fury Road's better.
I hope you recover, Scott.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Comment below your thoughts on what you thought of Furiosa, the Mad Max saga, or a Mad Max saga. Subscribe, and we'll see you next week. We're out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check in the mail, I'll have enough for closing time. And I've been cussing like a sailor since I ran